requesting a single unpitted black olive to another request of a bag of dirt, we count 10 of the craziest last meal requests from death row. Number 10. William Bonin. This man was convicted of rape and murder of 21 boys and young men in between 1979 and 1980 in California, but suspected of having much more victims than that. The serial killer, known as the Freeway Killer, was suspected of committing over 15 more murders. His last meal was substantial, consisting of 2 pepperoni pizzas and 3 helpings of chocolate ice cream. The weird part is, he consumed 18 servings of Coca-Cola and Pepsi before his execution. Number 9. Timothy McVeigh. Responsible for the Oklahoma City bombing in 1996, convicted terrorist and mass murderer, killing 168 people and injuring over 600 more, McVeigh was executed by form of lethal injection by the state of Indiana in 2001. According to the United States government, it was the deadliest act of terrorism within the US prior to the September 11 attacks in New York. His last meal, just 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream, of which he ate every bite. Number 8. Jonathan Nobles. After 2 young women were murdered in 1986, Nobles was convicted of murder and sentenced to execution by lethal injection. Apparently, he has become a very devout Christian during his 12 years in prison. The born-again man requested Eucharist, also known as Holy Communion, for his last meal, which consists of consecrated bread and wine. Number 7. Gerald Lee Mitchell. Convicted of killing 2 men after robbing them during a drug deal, Mitchell also was convicted in a separate case of murder after shooting a man who refused to give him a necklace he wanted. He was executed by the state of Texas in 2001. For his last meal, all he requested was a large bag of assorted Jolly Rancher candies. Number 6. James Edward Smith. Convicted in 1983 for fatally shooting Larry Don Roas during a robbery at a cashier's office inside the International Trade Center building in Houston, Smith asked that his final meal be a lump of dirt. The dirt is used for voodoo rituals as a way of marking the body for the afterlife. Although his request was denied, he was given a cup of yogurt instead. Number 5. Philip Ray Workman. Although the murder trial of Workman was highly controversial, he was convicted and executed by the state of Tennessee in 2007. Several experts claim the bullet that killed police officer Lieutenant Ronald Oliver could have been fired from Workman's gun. At his last meal, Workman requested a large vegetarian pizza given to a homeless person. Official denied his request, telling CNN they do not donate to charities. After the CNN article was published, donors from around the country sent hundreds of pizzas to Nashville area homeless shelters, carrying out Workman's final request. Number 4. Troy Davis. In another highly controversial trial of the fatal shooting of yet another police officer, Mark McPhail, Davis was also convicted. In a retrial before the Supreme Court of the United States, 7 of the 9 trial witnesses whose original testimony identified Davis recanted, and a man who Davis claimed was the real triggerman's confession to the murder was excluded in hearsay. The conviction was upheld. Before his execution, he declined his meal, though stating, "This meal would not be my last." He either had very high hopes that they would change their minds about the lethal injection, was in denial, or just wanted to stand out as the guy that never died. Either way, Davis was executed in 2011, still claiming his innocence. Number 3. Miguel Richardson. Tried and convicted of the fatal shootings of 2 security guards in 1980, Richardson was executed by the state of Texas in 2001. His last meal consisted of a chocolate birthday cake with 2/23/90 written on top, which was the date he got married, as well as 7 pink candles, 1 coconut, kiwi fruit, pineapple juice, 1 mango, grapes, peaches, 1 banana, 1 apple, cottage cheese, tomato slices, and a salad with Thousand Island dressing. Number 2. Odell Barnes. A Texas man convicted of murdering Helen Bass in a home robbery received heavy press attention from anti-death penalty advocates and human rights groups. Due to the deficiencies in the forensic evidence and serious errors of which the original defense team never questioned, this case became highly controversial as well. With 2 public defenders that both had minimal budget or preparation for the case, Barnes was still convicted and later executed in 2000. His last meal request was one that officials just were not able to supply: justice, equality, and world peace. Number 1. Robert Buell. Infamous for being convicted of the rape and murder of 11-year-old Krista Harrison back in 1982, Buell, also a serial rapist, was executed by the state of Ohio in 2002. Buell was thought to have had at least 2 other victims about the same age and time range as Harrison, and has since been linked to at least 1 other murder by DNA evidence. His final meal request was by far one of the strangest: a single, unpitted black olive.